The Valentine's Day Massacre? In the episode Valentine's Day, Patrick experiences what might be the most dangerous emotional breakdown in cartoon history. He thinks SpongeBob forgot to get him a Valentine's present, and he absolutely loses it. Patrick starts destroying the entire Valentine's Day carnival. He's throwing people like rag dolls. He's smashing booths left and right. He's causing mass panic. The crowd is terrified. They're literally running for their lives from an enraged starfish having a meltdown. But here's the scary part. Patrick's rampage was escalating. He was getting angrier and angrier with no signs of stopping. His strength was increasing as his rage grew. If SpongeBob's giant chocolate balloon hadn't arrived at that exact moment, Patrick would have demolished the entire carnival. And then what? You think Patrick would have just stopped? No way. He would have moved into downtown Bikini Bottom, still furious, still destroying everything in his path. We're talking about a potential citywide catastrophe triggered by hurt feelings. That's what makes Patrick so dangerous. His emotions are directly connected to his destructive power. Patrick gluing SpongeBob in the Wringer forever in Stuck in the Wringer. Now you might be thinking, how does trapping SpongeBob almost destroy the city? Well, let me explain. SpongeBob gets stuck in a clothes wringer. Already a bad situation. But Patrick, being Patrick, decides he needs to help. And what does he use? Forever glue. Not regular glue. Forever glue. He permanently traps SpongeBob in the wringer, thinking he's being helpful when in reality he's making everything exponentially worse. But here's where it escalates. SpongeBob's trapped state causes him to inadvertently demolish parts of the Krusty Krab. He's wriggling around in desperation, knocking things over, breaking equipment, causing chaos. And then the citizens of Bikini Bottom start forming an angry mob outside. Think about what's happening here. Patrick's one stupid decision with a bottle of glue created a domino effect that led to property damage and civil unrest. If that mob had gotten any angrier, we're talking full-scale riots, buildings getting destroyed, total breakdown of social order, all because Patrick grabbed the wrong adhesive. Patrick becoming a tyrannical king in rule of dumb. When Patrick discovers he's secretly royalty and becomes king of Bikini Bottom, he immediately transforms into a dictator. He starts making insane demands. He's confiscating people's homes, just taking them because he can. He's stealing property without consequences. He's exiling citizens from Bikini Bottom for absolutely no reason except that they annoyed him. And because he's king, nobody can stop him. But what makes this truly catastrophic is that Patrick was getting worse by the minute. His power was corrupting him in real time. He was destroying the entire social structure of Bikini Bottom. The government was collapsing. People were losing their homes and being forced into exile. If Patrick had remained king, Bikini Bottom would have descended into complete tyranny. The economy would have crashed. Citizens would have become refugees. The entire civilization would have crumbled. And Patrick, he would have been sitting on his throne, completely oblivious to the suffering he caused, probably eating ice cream. Patrick's uncontrollable karate rampage in Karate Star. This episode is terrifying because it shows us what happens when Patrick gains even a tiny bit of skill. SpongeBob teaches Patrick karate, thinking it'll make him more disciplined. Big mistake. Patrick's karate hand becomes completely uncontrollable, or so he claims. He's karate chopping everything in sight. Power poles, arcade games, manhole covers, an ice cream shop door. SpongeBob is literally running behind him, screaming for him to stop, warning him that he's destroying Bikini Bottom, and the destruction escalates. Patrick chops his way into the Bargain Mart supermarket and absolutely destroys it. The entire structure collapses. We see an entire city block getting demolished by one starfish's out-of-control arm. But here's the kicker. When Patrick realizes he can't control his hand, he just chops it off, and then it grows back. Except now, he can control it. Which means Patrick had the ability to stop himself the entire time. He just chose not to think about that. Patrick caused millions of dollars in property damage simply because he didn't feel like exercising self-control. If he had continued for just a few more hours, entire neighborhoods would have been leveled. The infrastructure of Bikini Bottom would have been completely compromised. We're talking about potential citywide collapse. The monster who came to Bikini Bottom. Patrick accidentally releases a glowing, living creature named Rarg from radioactive waste and treats it like a pet. At first, Rarg seems friendly enough, but then it goes on a destructive spree, and Patrick, being Patrick, unintentionally encourages it. Rarg smashes Patrick's rock house, then SpongeBob's pineapple, then Squidward's home. 3 houses demolished in minutes, but it doesn't stop there. The chaos spreads through downtown Bikini Bottom. Rarg is roughhousing with SpongeBob and then just starts rampaging through the streets. Buildings are getting flattened. Infrastructure is collapsing, and Patrick, he's just playing with his new friend, seemed completely oblivious to the destruction. The terrifying part is that this monster had unlimited destructive potential. It was strong enough to level houses with ease. If it had continued its rampage unchecked, the entire city would have been reduced to rubble. And it all started because Patrick decided to adopt a glowing rock creature from radioactive waste. Only in Bikini Bottom would someone think that's a good idea. The main drain. This Halloween-themed episode features a mythical drain that supposedly could suck up all of Bikini Bottom if unplugged. It's presented as a legend, a scary story to tell kids. And then Patrick and SpongeBob find the actual drain. They pull the plug. Instantly everything, and I mean everything, gets sucked into the drain, every citizen, every building. SpongeBob and Patrick themselves. The entire city gets transported to a spooky underworld. Bikini Bottom is completely emptied out in seconds. Patrick literally caused the end of civilization by yanking a plug as a prank. He pulled it because he was curious. No malice, no plan, just pure Patrick stupidity mixed with catastrophic consequences. Now, the episode reveals this was a story told by Squidward, but within the narrative, it's played completely straight, and that's what makes it so terrifying. Patrick's curiosity about a mythical legend nearly doomed everyone to an underwater hell dimension, one plug pull away from extinction. That sinking feeling. In this episode, Squidward forbids SpongeBob and Patrick from crossing his property. So what do? They dig a tunnel between their houses because that's logical, but they dig too deep. And then it happens. The entire town of Bikini Bottom begins sinking into the ground. Every building, the Krusty Krab, downtown, residential areas, Squidward's house, everything starts descending below sea level, which is already underwater. Think about how deep they had to dig for that to happen. We see widespread panic as the city literally collapses into the earth. Infrastructure is failing. Buildings are dropping into sinkholes. The ground itself is giving way. And Patrick? He's just in his tunnel, probably wondering where all the rumbling is coming from. While SpongeBob shares responsibility here, Patrick's involvement in the digging places him squarely at the center of this catastrophe. They literally caused a geological disaster that threatened to bury the entire city. If the sinking had continued, Bikini Bottom would have been crushed under layers of rock and earth, entombing everyone inside. Patrick's tantrum. Throughout this episode, Patrick has a violent reaction whenever he hears a bell. Any bell, every bell, and it gets progressively worse. At the climax, someone accidentally pulls a fire alarm in the Krusty Krab, and Patrick enters a full-blown, rage-induced rampage. Security guards try to restrain him, but Patrick breaks free like the Hulk, and then he tears the Krusty Krab apart. He's destroying the restaurant from the inside, ripping up walls, smashing equipment, and crucially, he rips up Mr. Krabs' money, all of it. The life savings that Mr. Krabs keeps hidden throughout the restaurant. Gone. Shredded. Destroyed in Patrick's bell-induced fury. The Krusty Krab isn't just some random building. It's the economic heart of Bikini Bottom. It's the most popular restaurant in the city. It employs citizens, it feeds the community, and Patrick destroyed it in minutes because he heard a ding. If Patrick's bell phobia had triggered in more locations, schools, hospitals, City Hall, he would have torn down every major institution in Bikini Bottom. This is one of the few times we see Patrick's anger causing direct structural damage to a landmark, and it shows us just how dangerous his strength becomes when combined with uncontrolled rage. Sing a song of Patrick. Patrick writes a song, a terrible song, the worst song ever created, and he and SpongeBob broadcast it from the radio tower using a massive loudspeaker. What happens next is pure chaos. Neighbors riot over the ear-splitting music. Slapstick disasters occur throughout the city. And then, and this is shown on screen, literal head explosions. People's heads are exploding from listening to Patrick's song. A plane crashes into a fireworks stand because the pilot was incapacitated by the music. The explosion from that crash adds to the mayhem. Band members who hear the song drop dead instantly. SpongeBob's house visibly melts from the audio assault. And the mob? They become so enraged that they start hunting down SpongeBob and Patrick with dodgeballs, which in Bikini Bottom might as well be lethal weapons given how they're thrown. This song was causing mass casualties, infrastructure damage, aircraft crashes, civil unrest, and it was being broadcast citywide from the highest point in Bikini Bottom. If they hadn't stopped the broadcast when they did, the death toll would have been catastrophic. Patrick's innocent song nearly toppled the entire town through sonic warfare. And now, the moment you've been waiting for. Number 1, Patrick eating the tartar sauce and erasing history in Back to the Past. This is it. This is the closest Patrick has ever come to destroying not just Bikini Bottom, but the entire timeline, the entire future, everything. SpongeBob and Patrick travel back in time to the exact moment when Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy are about to defeat Man Ray, the most dangerous villain in Bikini Bottom history. The weapon they're using? Tartar sauce. The one thing that can stop Man Ray. And Patrick eats it. Man Ray escapes. He conquers Bikini Bottom. The city falls under his control. The Krusty Krab becomes a prison camp. Citizens are enslaved. Everyone loses everything. The entire future they knew is erased. But here's what makes this number one. They go back multiple times. They try to fix it. And every single time, without fail, Patrick eats the tartar sauce. He can't help himself. He sees sauce, he eats sauce. Even knowing what's at stake, even understanding the consequences, Patrick cannot control his impulses. He's not just destroying present-day Bikini Bottom, he's erasing the entire future. Everyone who was born after that moment, they never existed. Every happy memory, every friendship, every accomplishment in Bikini Bottom's history, gone, wiped from existence. Patrick committed accidental genocide across time itself because he couldn't resist eating sauce. That's not just dangerous, that's an extinction-level threat, and he did it repeatedly. Think about the implications. If SpongeBob hadn't eventually found a solution, the Bikini Bottom we know would have never existed. Mr. Krabs would have never opened the Krusty Krab. SpongeBob and Patrick would have never become friends. Every episode we've ever watched would have been erased from history. Patrick was one tartar sauce away, multiple times, from ending everything. Not just killing people, but erasing them from ever having existed. That's the ultimate destruction. That's why it's number one. So yeah, those are all the times Patrick came dangerously close to destroying Bikini Bottom. From song-induced apocalypses to timeline erasure, Patrick has proven time and time again that he's the most unintentionally dangerous character in the entire series, and the scariest part, he has no idea. Patrick doesn't understand the destruction he causes. He's not evil like Plankton, who tries to take over the city and fails every time Patrick just exists. And in existing, he accidentally nearly destroys everything constantly. He's a walking disaster waiting to happen, and the only reason Bikini Bottom still stands is because SpongeBob is always there to stop him at the last second. Let me know in the comments which Patrick near disaster scared you the most, or if you think there are any other times Patrick almost ended everything that I missed. And because you made it all the way to the end, you might as well hit that subscribe button. Come on, you know you want to. I just started this channel and I'm going to be making the best SpongeBob content for you. Let's get it.